Hi everybody, welcome to School of Scarlett. Today I have another intuitive message for you. So today's message is for you if you have been feeling depleted, if you've been feeling used, if you've been feeling taken for granted. Today's message is very powerful and it's going to bring you back into your power. So stay tuned to the very end so that you get the completed message. So if you are new here, I want to welcome you to my channel. I put out daily intuitive messages based on things that happen in my daily life. So if that sounds good to you, I welcome you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, give me a like. It really helps my channel. If you're a returning viewer, do that as well. If you could give me a like right now, that would really help me out. So today's message came from something kind of unexpected. It wasn't something that I was expecting, but it made total sense. And a really clear, intuitive message came through for you. So it's no coincidence that you're on this channel or that you're listening to this message. So I'm going to show you what it was here. This is a plum that came off of one of my fruit trees. I decided to go ahead and film in front of my garden here. Behind me, you'll see some different trees, not this one, but further back, there are some fruit trees. And every year we get tons of plums and we get lots of peaches. We make peach cobbler, we make plum sauce, plum jam, all of that stuff. But this year has been a little bit different, and today's message really came through with what was going on. So my property's kind of been taken over by a ton of squirrels. So when I go outside, I see squirrels jumping everywhere, branch to branch, just running around, just really, really causing a mess, because what they like to do is get up on these fruit trees and they like to pick off a fruit like this plum, and they will take one bite out of it and they will throw it down. And so I haven't really even gotten enough peaches to even make a peach cobbler this year, because they have literally done that to every single fruit that they can find. And so the fruit goes to waste. It doesn't really get used for what it needs to. So it's really unfortunate. But anyhow, that happened to my plum tree. It first happened to my peach trees, now my plum trees, and I have 2 more plum trees left. We'll see what will happen there. But I do have a plan for that. So what I'm thinking to do is I'm going to put, a lot of times with people that grow fruit, you do have to kind of put like a barrier, a sheet kind of on top of it, so that the squirrels and stuff don't get in there and pick it off, or the birds or whatever that you have. And I've never really had a problem with it, but this year I did. And I think today's message came straight from that, so that you could get this message. So today's message really is about how there may be people in your life that are just taking from you, taking your fruit, and just taking a bite out of it and throwing it down. And so what this is really conveying is that there could be people in your life that really are taking you for granted, are, not seeing the true value of your fruit, are not really taking any of the nourishment from it. They just want to bite. They just want to try it. They just want to kind of pass by, and they're really taking you for granted. So what we really have to do in these situations where we have squirrels in our life is to really set some boundaries. Just like I'm going to cover my trees now with barriers so that the squirrels can't get in there and take the fruit. We have to create barriers around ourselves and separate ourselves so much that people don't have access to our fruit so easily. So there's going to be seasons in our life, just like fruit trees, where we are barren, we don't have any fruit. There's going to be seasons where we're just growing our roots deeper. There's going to be seasons where there's silence. There's going to be seasons where there's maybe sickness or illness. There's going to be seasons where we're bearing fruit. And so you may be in that season of bearing fruit right now. And when you're in that season, it's really easy for others to come take our fruit, right? Because we have so much of it. And it's okay to give of ourselves, to let others have our fruit, but not everybody deserves our fruit. There are those that truly just take a bite and throw it down. And if you have someone like that in your life, or you have lots of people like that in your life, you really have to create a barrier. You really have to see who is really actually going to nourish themselves with your fruit, and who is just truly just taking you for granted. So what I'm seeing here is that many of you are going to begin to set these boundaries, and those people that were just taking the bite are really going to see what they missed out on. They're really going to see that you were the real deal, that you had all of that fruit there, and they're going to be kind of left out, right? And it's kind of like a symbolism to being left out of the garden. I'm sitting here in front of my garden, and you can think about like being cast out of the Garden of Eden. Many times in life, we see situations where people had it all. They had access to maybe the love of their life, or, a beautiful scenario in their life, a great job, whatever it happens to be. But at some point they take it so much for granted that they get cast out. They do something that truly gets them cast out of the garden. And so you're going to have people in your life that are going to be removed here soon, and they're not going to be able to access the fruits that you have, all of the fruit, all of the abundance that you have, all of the wisdom, however you want to see what this fruit is carrying. This may be all of your wisdom. This may be your peace. This may be your abundance. This may be your talents, your gifts, whatever your fruit is to you. Those people are not going to have access to it anymore. And they're really going to regret that, because they're going to see how they've truly been cast out. And it's like they're kind of going to be wandering around, seeing how they can go ahead and get back into the garden. So just like pests in the garden, right? The garden behind me, there might be certain pests that come and take over the garden, right? Like it could be a rabbit that could come in overnight and really steal and take all of the vegetables and tear the plants down and all kinds of stuff. But at some point when we see this, we really have to create barriers so that the rabbits don't get in. We have to take measures to make sure that they are not stealing from us all of our labor, all of our abundance, our peace, our nourishment, everything that is truly ours. So we have to set those boundaries in place. And when we do that, what happens to the rabbit? It goes hungry. It really feels as though it has lost everything. And it has to go seeking other gardens. It has to go searching all over the place. And what you're going to see is that you're going to have people that have left you, that may even leave you willingly, but they're going to be searching. They're going to be searching over here and over there for the garden. And they're not going to find it, because you were the real deal. You were the whole garden. And that oftentimes happens in our life, that we have people leave us and they want back in. But we need to keep our barriers up. If someone does not belong in your garden, if they are the type of person who just takes a bite and throws it down, we don't need those squirrels in our life. There will be squirrels and people in your life that truly appreciate you, that truly get nourishment and eat the whole entire fruit, and they digest it, and they really come back to be, grateful to you. They'll thank you. They'll reciprocate. It's a mutual relationship where it's a give or take, but it's always flowing in one way or the other, back and forth. It's not just take, or give. There is literally a flow of back and forth. They take and also they give. So that is who really it belongs in your life, is someone who is able to reciprocate, someone who is able to see your worth, see your value, take the whole fruit and eat all of it, not just take a bite and throw it down. So that's what this message is about. If this message is already resonating with you, give me a thumbs up. I'm really sensing that this message could be really related to, scenarios around love. And so you may have a relationship where there is more of a taker, and they're not really, taking with, nourishment. They're not really appreciating you. And so it's okay to put those boundaries up, and it's really important to keep your boundaries in place. If I was to, see that rabbits were coming into my garden, and I put up those boundaries, or I put up, those barriers so that they don't get in, and then, I later that day or even the next day, I decide, okay, it's all good, I can go ahead and take them down. Those rabbits are going to be right back in there, just tearing everything up again. So we have to keep our boundaries, and it's not that we don't allow someone to experience our love. We allow them to experience our love, but they may not be ready for the fruit. They may not be ready to, access your actual garden, your vegetable garden where everything actually grows. They may need to kind of be there in your love, but not free access to every single fruit. Because at the end of the day, what ended up happening to my peach trees and one of my plum trees is that literally these squirrels took every single piece of fruit and took a bite out of it and threw it down. And so at the end of the day, there was no fruit. There was nothing that came of all of that fruit that was on that tree. I didn't get to make my peach cobbler. I didn't get to make my peach jam, my peach salsa. The plums weren't there. I didn't get to make my sauce or any of the stuff that I usually do. It all went to waste. And we can't allow ourselves to be wasted, to be taken from, for our energy or life force to be siphoned out in a way where nothing productive even comes of the fruit. You're bearing fruit for a reason. You are very special. You are a chosen one. There is something about you that you know, you're giving to this world through your fruit. And so don't allow it to be wasted. Don't allow it to be taken by a couple of squirrels. I hope that this message found you well. If it did, give me a thumbs up. Share this message with others if you got something from it. If you would like to connect further with me, I am putting out a coaching program right now, and I have other offerings. You can check out my description and my pinned comment down below. I would love to work with you to really return back to yourself is the theme of my coaching program, and really stand in your true power. You know, have all of your life force energy return back to you so that you can work in a space of freedom and unconditional love. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and check out my description, check out my pinned comment. I would love to work with you. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for being here. I absolutely love you all. Leave me a comment down below how this resonated with you, or leave me your favorite emoji. Give back. You know, if you watch a video, it's also important to give back through something as simple and free as giving me a like, subscribing to the channel. That alone is huge. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all, and I will catch you on our next video.